I mean, it really did. And I mean, because where we couldn't do it, these two did. I mean, it was just something to view.
I was very honest with you.
So I appreciate it.
Many times when I came to visit Mrs. Young, I always came down 17th Street, came here. I enjoyed coming down with you. I really did. Yeah. Again, it was not my intention to pick on these two senior citizens. That was not my goal. That's how it was portrayed in the newspaper. And that's why everybody got upset. But when I showed them what else we were faced with, I said, I'm sorry that they get swept up into it. And Mrs. Young had the right statement. Clearly, there was some miscommunication, there was misunderstanding.
Because we didn't see what you were up against, because of course it was just that. But the other yards, that was, and then I will clearly put in, because what I'm facing is, I'm not from this town. I'm from Boyd.
I remember that.
Yes.
You're from what?
And I cannot find Japanese eggplant. The only place is Whole Foods. So, yes, I do. I have a Japanese eggplant that I planted, which I will pickle, but I will surely put in my paper to please, can I do that, because I cannot pay.
Yeah, one of the things we looked at was the community garden.
But people go and dig traps and listen to others to that.
And we've had that problem right in front of this building. We plant plants down here, and overnight, they disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that we haven't tried.
Yeah.
We have tried.
Yeah.
If that wasn't great either, we have tried.
And they'll take it, but they won't touch if it's in my corner of my world, they won't touch
So,
my.
we are going to try to come up with some solution.
Yeah, but
Yes,
I
ma'am.
cannot buy it. How about you have it set on your porch?
Porch is fine.
Okay.
Porch is fine. Porch is part of your rental use. That is fine. I have no problem with your porch. Yes, sir.
Actually, my question is more pertaining to the voucher, Section 8 voucher.
Yes.
I was told that they wasn't letting nobody sign up for that. So are y'all just going to issue them to all residents, or do we sign up?
According to federal law, if we get a grant to demolish the site or to totally rehab it, everyone in that site is given options, housing options. One of the options, you can move to another public housing development, you can move with family, you can move to the private market, or you can accept a voucher. We just did that with Stony Glen. There were 49 units in there. All 49 tenants decided they wanted a voucher. They weren't on the Section 8 list.
So I don't have to get on the Section 8?
No, if you're here at the time that we get the grant award, there will be a meeting here about relocation and what your options are and what financial responsibilities we have to you. Part of it is that we have to cover your relocation cost. That's your moving expense.
We got that one day?
Yeah, I mean, because we're asking you to leave, so it's an inconvenience. And we have to try to make you as whole as possible. Now, how can that be expedited? We have choice neighborhood planning committees that we need residents to participate. But the better the plan that we submit that to HAWS, the greater the responsibility we can get the funding. If we get that funding, then I'll come back to this files on my face, and it'll be a longer meeting, and hopefully the XC will be working, and we can talk about the options.
So if we go according to your plan and get all this done, and you can go back and say, hey, look, I've done ABC according to all plans, we've done this, look at this.
I've got that already from with the O610. A lot of housing authorities are meeting when they're coming to North Carolina to see the O610. They just can't believe that's actually a special type of public housing. So the second one over here at 12th and Cleveland.
So we gotta get our act together here.
And that's right. When I first came here, I said these buildings are structurally solid. Right. No one can argue with that. They're just functionally obsolete. They're too small. You really don't have a dining room. The bedrooms are small. Right. Your wiring is inadequate. You have to wait maybe an hour to get your bathtub full of water. I mean, it's just It was built in the 60s and the 70s, so it's 50 to 40, 50 years old. Okay? It's time for it to come down and something new. But HUD is not going to allow us to build 240 units back here. They say that the concentration of poverty is too thick. You got to kind of spread it out. So I've got to figure out what else can come here. Now, what does part of the plan have to include? It has to include a better educational system. So there's an education committee in which the Forsyth County School System has their representatives there. And then you can hear what you need. So that can go into the plan. There's a health committee. So the health department is on that committee. You have employment, economic development, they're on that committee. Then there's housing. The police department is running public safety. There's about 5 committees. There's going to be a big celebration, I believe, over at the Bethesda Church very soon, where all the parties are coming out. I'm hoping this entire community comes out. I want to show HUD the enthusiasm. It will mean a lot. Again, this was a very important meeting. People read the newspaper, they get one-sided. This news should have been wall-to-wall people.
Mr. Wood.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, I do have one of the residents that was caught up in that, and she's real hurting. She's sitting here with this, I'll appreciate it if you talk to her.
I've talked to her, I will, I'll talk to her one-on-one. Okay?
She was one of the ones that people pay for, for house and everything, and she's real upset and very divided. Still crying.
I'll talk to her. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question is about, the vouchers, and you were saying that if you're moving out, that HUD would, be responsible for the financial assistance?
That's right. What they would do is, if you're in a 2-bedroom unit, they would come up with a fee of what a moving company would normally charge to move you. That would include packing, company packing you up, putting it in a truck, transporting to the location, unpacking. They will cover that cost. I don't think they'll cover your deposit on a new unit, but I think they will cover the deposit on utilities. Am I correct on that, Karen? Or the opposite? Transfer fees, it's a cold transfer fee. Those things will be covered.
Okay.
But you'll be paying no more than what you're paying now. Unless your income changes, yes.
Is that money paid back to you all
No.
for
You mean for the moving?
to move and all of that?
No. No, sir.
When should this start? I mean, should we start looking, or?
Well, don't start looking until we can get the implementation grant.
Okay.
I gotta get this right now. We got the planning grant. There was only 2 housing stores in North Carolina that got a planning grant this year. Winston Salem and New Bern. That's it. Only 2.
Okay.
There were something like 100 and some odd applications. Our 2 is at the top of the list. We were the only ones of, I think, the 9 across